I'm here. Just no, I'm just it's just like I said, it's just one of those. I'll figure it out. evening, everybody. This is DFG, the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, smooth as a Rolls Royce. Coming to you live from the 571, where I'm having fun and I'm getting things done. Hopefully, you're going to be here for the whole hour. I'm just trying to get some power. Now, with me online with me are Apple and my favorite girl, the Chocolate Pearl. Let me
Hey,
let's give them a round of applause. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you too.
Okay, double checking. Double checking. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's start off with Apple. Apple, what's going on today?
Hey everybody. Nothing much. Relaxing. Yesterday was my birthday.
Yay, tax day. I paid a grip. So how was tax day for you?
I had jury duty.
Oh, okay. Hey, sounds like a golden. Next up. Let's give a round of applause to my favorite girl, the Chocolate Pearl. What's going on, Chocolate Pearl? Pearl, are you there?
I guess I'm getting bad feedback.
Getting
I'm
mad.
doing
Are you
good,
getting?
everybody. I'm living life, just leaving my sewing class, and I had two meetings today, and feel real good about it. Um, I'm back up employed, so I'm amongst the people who get a check at the end of the week.
That's what's up. That is what's up. Life is good though. Throws you a curve or two every once in a while, but
Just
life
to
is
keep me
always
going, just to
good.
keep me going.
Said Miss Nikki in YouTube said, "Happy birthday." Today I'm using Restream. I bought it a year ago and had to figure out how to use it. So now I'm simultaneously broadcasting on both Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Let's give me a round of applause for learning something.
Woo! Yeah!
Hey,
So tonight's topic is going to be kind of a short one, but it's um it's going to be basically an open forum, ladies. Um, how was your weekend, Chocolate Pearl? You look like you had a good time this weekend.
I did. On Saturday, I worked a festival in DeLand, Florida. I did okay. And then on Friday, my boo took me to a candy shop and we made candy,
You know you
chocolate.
got the sugar. You know you got the sugar.
Now that's you and Kendra. That's you and Kendra. So no, I don't have the sugars.
Well, yeah, about that. Hey, Apple, how was your weekend? I know it was your birthday and you spent it on jury duty, but what did you do on Saturday and Sunday?
I actually relaxed all weekend. I had a good weekend. I spent some time with my
Good.
granddaughter. We
Did
just
she
we had
drive
a
you
good
up the wall with her 85-year-old behind?
yes, kind of, sort of, yes, but it's all love.
Yeah, I know. It's nothing like having grands, especially when they ain't acting a fool. They definitely ain't acting a fool. Well, I was gonna what do y'all think I should talk about? I know I was supposed to be prepared, but there's so many things going on these days. They still talking about Diddy's situation. They still talking about, he's gonna drop some more names like Drake and them. Last week we talked a little bit about what is feminine, what is what makes a feminine woman in 2024. So let's go back to what makes a masculine man in 2024. Now, I as a man have a different idea than what y'all would think. So I'm gonna start off with what I think masculinity is in 2024. Masculinity in 2024 is kind of under attack because if you want a man that knows that they're in charge and takes charge when being in charge, then you have what you need. A lot of times is that some of the women we pick, they say they want a leader, they ain't trying to follow nobody, and it takes discernment. A emotionally healthy man understands their limitations. They can't try to do everything. I struggle with that. I try to do everything and can't say no. However, I'm learning the power of no and knowing when to use it. I've been getting better at that. A lot of times we look at things. A lot of times we look at things as in, can you lift a whole bunch of stuff? Can you, and being masculine has really nothing to do with sexuality, because you can be masculine and like men. It's just it's just how it is. That you don't. I mean, and I know that I'm going to get some kickback on that, but it's my opinion, my show. I get to say what I want to say about that. And also, there's a way a man walks, how he talks, how he leads, how he acts. You may not know for a fact, but at least there are masculine presenting men. A lot of times, women get caught up in muscles. Women get caught up in the over 6 feet. Women get caught up in the swag, but that doesn't make a man masculine. It gives an appearance of it, but that doesn't make a man masculine. Apple, what do you think? What is your opinion on masculinity in 2024?
Um, I think it's the same thing with the femininity. It's subjective because what I find masculine, maybe Chocolate Pearl may not find the same things. Um, I don't think it has anything to do with dressing because I might prefer a man that dress in suits over someone who dress more urban or vice versa, but they could both be masculine. So I don't
Yeah.
think it has anything to do with as far as like how they dress, unless they're you
Now,
know
can a
cross
man?
dressing. I don't think that's necessarily masculine, but I could be wrong. I don't know
I,
anybody that personally cross dresses,
I was just
but
about.
I think like femininity is subjective. It's what you find, and I don't have a definitive answer to give you to say okay, this and that is masculine, or this and that is not masculine.
Okay.
I know that's
Okay.
probably not what you wanted to hear, but
No, no, but
and as
it's
far
your
as like what
opinion.
women desire, like I know like the majority of the women that I speak to, they want to be submissive to their man, but a lot of times men in 2024, they're all about 50-50, and some women don't find that attractive or masculine
Well,
because we're
yeah.
used to
Let's
how we grew up, especially
let's talk
us
about
Gen Xers, that the man
let's talk about that.
takes the
Let's
majority of the bills, and they take care of the family as far as like financially, the majority of it, and that's what we deem to be masculine. But what if I make more than my husband? Does that make him
then you
less
can still.
masculine because I make more, and I might have the means to pay the bills? So I
Well,
don't know
that's
if I'm
and I'm
making
glad you
sense.
said that. I'm glad you said that because there are some situations like that, but usually it usually happens. The woman who makes more starts to respect her husband or boyfriend less
Hello?
because she said, "I got the money." Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Apple. Look like Chocolate Pearl dropped off for a second. She hopefully she'll come back on. But like I was saying, is you know the reason I say that if a woman earns more than a man, more than likely she's gonna lose respect for him because she can do things. He doesn't. She won't allow him to have the authority and to be led. Oh, um, looks like everybody got kicked off, but so I'll keep going. The biggest thing about this whole thing is are we doing are we doing enough to tout masculinity these days? Could you put a one in the box if you can hear me? I can hear me, but that's not the important thing. I'm wondering if the people out in YouTube land or Facebook can hear me. Could I get a one in the box if you can hear me? Well, okay. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you. Um, okay, so I got y'all can still hear me. I'm gonna I'm gonna put a video up, talk about that. Give me a second. Oh, I'm frozen. I'm sorry that I'm frozen, Miss Nikki. I don't know what the deal is with that. We're gonna go through some of the things. Give me a second. And this has a little bit to do with masculinity. And away we go. So Apple, are you back on?
Yeah, but for some reason I can't comment
Okay,
in
okay.
the
It has
comments.
you in the yeah. In restream, don't comment in restream. Go on to YouTube and make it silent, and then he said make it silent, and then you can actually you won't get the feedback. Are you there, Chocolate Pearl? Are you there? Can you hear me, Chocolate Pearl? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs all around. Am I still frozen, Miss Nikki? I do not know why. I do not know why I'm frozen, but let's go on. There you go, Chocolate Pearl. What's going on?
Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes,
there
I
we
can
go.
hear
Now
you
you can hear
now.
me.
Okay. So first thing I was asking Apple was, what do you consider masculine in 2024?
I heard what she was saying. I don't know what really is masculinity because women and men could both be masculine
Right. But
without
the things we
without them actually changing their sex. Um, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Without them saying that they're a different person or different
gender
type of
a
person.
gender
Gender. There you go.
a different gender. Yeah.
Right.
I got you. I got you. But the thing is that and you guys both have a point. You guys both have both have a point. The big thing is about it is, that second one. I don't know if you got to see it, Chocolate Pearl, but it was a lady saying how her 17-year-old son said, "You didn't teach me how to survive. You protected me so much that I really don't know how to protect myself." And that's, and yes, he'll be male presenting. He's probably got the swag. He's probably knows how to talk to women, but he doesn't know how to survive as a man. And men judge men on their actions and their appearance. Because sometimes we may be mistaken. How many times have people been mistaken for being soft, but then when they got rolled on, they handled their business. That happens a lot. So men understand that, yeah, you can talk sideways to some men, but there's only so much that they're going to be able to take before fisticuffs or yelling or getting in people's faces. And I look at how my sons grew up and them having a father in their life helped them to make better decisions down the road. I wasn't always there because military obligations, but I was there enough that
I was
they
going to say
understood
that.
how.
Make sure you let them know that you wasn't there because of the military. You wasn't physically present, but you were present in their lives.
Yes, no, they know that. They know that. As a matter of fact, my oldest called me today. He needed some advice on getting his credit score up, and I talked to him, and you know how you are with your male children. But anyway, and like I said, I have my own thing, but a lot of times, especially in our communities, we don't look at we don't always look at how our male children are going to be because we expect them to be one way, and that does not mean it's always the way it is. And I remember to the audience, my sisters know this well, but when my oldest nephew graduated in 2008, first one of my mother's grandchildren to graduate high school. So I was sitting with him and his younger brother. That's Chocolate Pearl's middle child who lives in Florida and is a esthetician and a whole lot of other things. He worked hard. He worked hard, but he trying to get that bag. Anyway, I sat down with them and I told both of them. I said, "Look, you guys are getting older." I said, "You have to vet these women because the average act of copulation is between 30 seconds and 3 minutes. Do you want to spend 18 years, 18 plus years with a woman you ain't married to, that you really just having fun with, and got to deal with them on a basis like that? Now, not going into too much detail, but we know one of my nephews listened, and one of my nephews did not. I'll just leave it at that. I just leave it at that. One of my nephews listened, and one did not. But that doesn't mean they've made, you know, yeah, yeah, I can't.
They listened, they just didn't take your advice or put it to action.
Yeah, and now they're paying the price. In more ways than one. Um, but that's the thing when you're
For 18 years.
exactly. Which, with you know, men when, especially when they're young, we have a hard time listening to folks because we think we know everything. And I remember you and I had this conversation, Pearl. I was like, your kids don't listen to you because they know most of the time you're right, and they just hate the fact that you're right most of the time. Sometimes it takes somebody else to tell them what you need to tell them, and they'll take it a lot better. And I hold to that. I still hold to that because sometimes your kids are used to you, so you got to get somebody else to get your message across to make sure that they understand that life is going to life sometimes, and life is not fair. But hey, you get what you get, and you do what you need to do to make life as easy as possible. Because being a black person in America isn't easy, and neither is being a black man, especially in this time of age. But yeah, I was like I said, it was one of those things. I'm also on YouTube Live. If you're on YouTube Live, if you can leave me a super chat, my contact information there. If you want to hit me up on PayPal, all love is good love to me. You can send 5 cents and say F you, DFG. You did me dirty. I'll take it as long as some money attached to it. I'm on my way to 10,000 subscribers. I'm more than halfway there. With your help, I could even get more. Please like, comment, subscribe. It helps the algorithm. I'm also sponsored by Chocolate Pearl's business, The Real Golden Girls. If you want good products at a great price, get with The Real Golden Girls. The commercial will be running a little bit sooner, but I'm gonna make sure it's out there so y'all know if y'all need something, the Chocolate Pearl got it for you. And if you need advice on travel, how to get there, and Apple is a former airline, worked in is a former retired professional in the travel industry. She can probably help you get to some things and tell you how to get stuff. She can't get you on flights for free. That ain't her jam, and I wouldn't want it to be her jam. But she can help you she can point you in the right direction with her knowledge of how airlines work. Now, you both you guys had male children and a female child. How hard was it as moms to try to make sure that they weren't too overprotected, but they got to experience life? Go on, Chocolate Pro.
Well, because I have 2 boys and a girl, my daughter actually says I raised them differently. And I don't see how I did that, but she later on in life told me that you taught the boys more than you taught me. Um, I did teach my sons. My ex did not teach my sons things, and I'm not saying that to down him or anything. He just didn't. But I taught them more of how to be a man than I taught my daughter how to be a young lady. And that was the only reason why I did that is because, like you said, they don't listen to their parents. My daughter didn't listen to me because I was a little uh, aggressive in a sense. And so but her dad was a little bit more sensitive to her. So she gravitated to him. And she listened to more from him than she listened from me. Now, when it came to my sons, I taught them how to treat a woman. I taught them how to be a man and how a man should be in public and how a man should be seen. Now, whether they took that advice from me completely, no, I don't think they have, but they took a lot from me, especially as they're getting older, where I taught them how to change a tire, how to check their oil, how to basically fix things in the house. For Christmas, when I went back home to visit, my son did his housewarming. He actually told me, he said, "Mama, my in-laws keep asking me to fix things. That's your fault." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Because you taught me how to be the jack of all trades. Now my in-laws think I can do everything." So he has two brother-in-laws, and they don't know how to do anything.
So they're raised to be son husbands.
Right. So I like I said, I raised my boys how to treat a woman. And I guess what they seen how things happened with me and my marriage, they took my marriage as an example of what not to do and what to do. So I think when you're as a woman trying to raise men, it is hard because you're not a man. And I thank God for you for being in my children's life, because you were able to sit them down, because they're not going to listen to my ex because he's a parent. But you are unc's favorite uncle. You're not around all the time. But when you come around, you're the coolest uncle around. So they're going to listen to you. So you were able to help mold them as young men now into adulthood of what to do as a man. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people have to deal with that young lady, like that young lady and her son saying that you didn't teach me how to be a man. He really couldn't teach them how to be a man because he's not a man. And I think a man should be able to, or should teach a man, a young boy, to be a man or learn to be a man as an adult. A woman really cannot do it. Only thing we can teach them is technical stuff, of course, and I don't think checking the tires and you know, and the oil and all that stuff is a man thing. I think everybody should know that. But oh, a woman can only teach a man how to treat another woman. If I'm wrong, let me know.
Right. No, I got you. No, that makes sense. You should be known how to be treated, and the males in their lives supposed to teach them how to treat women. We don't
Right.
always
Because
get
I
it
remember
right,
when
but at least
I had potty trained my boys. Now I had the two boys before I had my girl. Guess how I was potty training them? To
taught them
sit
how
on
to
the
sit.
toilet. How my sons learned how to go to the restroom like a man's supposed to go to the restroom. I let him go to the bathroom with his younger friends, and when they went to the bathroom together, my son looked at me like, "Why are you doing that?" So little boys had to teach my sons, my oldest son, how to go to the bathroom because I didn't know.
Right. Nah, that's
So
true.
some things that women cannot teach a young boy or teach a male how to be a man. That has to
That
be
makes
done by another man.
no, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. What about you, Apple? What was your experience with raising two male children?
As compared to raising my daughter, I think I was
Yes.
a little more tough on my boys, but all for all my children, I guided them, but I let them make their own mistakes. I didn't try to coddle them too much, but they always knew that I was there for them no matter what. So I
Right.
allowed them to make mistakes, and hopefully they will learn from them. But with my
And what?
girl, I coddled her a little bit more than I did my boys.
Yeah, you did, but that's all right though.
Oh,
That's
don't
all
bring
right.
up old
She ain't
stuff.
turn out too bad. You ain't do too bad.
And but I also on the same um thing, I also taught them how to take care of themselves as far as cooking, doing their own laundry, things like that. That's definitely more of a stereotypical female role. So they know how to take care of a household as far as paying bills, and they also know how to take care of household as far as they don't have to depend on a woman to feed them or clothe them or what have you.
Right, right,
But I don't think that was necessarily me teaching them how to be men because like Chocolate Pearl said, I'm a woman. I don't know what it is like to be a man, let alone a black man. I could just guide them in the right direction and hopefully um they'll stay on the right path. And for the most part they did.
I can agree with. I can definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. You guys did the best job you could, and I was glad that I did have a part in it because you know what they say. You know, if you have the means, it's your responsibility to help. And
And
I
you
want to make
definitely
sure
did.
that good, bad, happy, or sad. I always cared about my nephews. I care about my nieces, but and I care about all of y'all. But a lot of times we don't always. How can I put this? We don't always do what we have to do as far as making sure that we are straight, especially us. We were trying so hard not to have that for our kids not to have our lives that I think sometimes we enabled them, and sometimes I think we did we did what we thought was right to make it somewhat decent. And on that, I'm going to take a quick commercial break from our sponsor, the Real Golden Girls. Quick question, Chocolate Pearl. Quick question. How long does it take for you to make your tumblers? I know you got a couple of orders out there already. And how long does it take you to make your body butter?
Well, my body butter, it doesn't take long at all. But I make it in batches. My tumbler, if I do a custom tumbler, it's the design that takes me a little longer than the actual press. So
Okay.
if someone was to order a custom tumbler, I have to make sure that it's sized right and it's, designed correctly so it fit the tumbler itself. So that's the longest. But if you give me
Okay.
something that doesn't take that long or what have you, it, it doesn't take long, maybe about an hour, if that, because I have to make sure it's right.
No, I got you. I got you. As a customer for yours for many many years, I shout you out and stand by your products because you're good at what you do, and I'm glad that I'm related to you. And I don't ask for discounts because that's not how we make money.
Yeah, you sure don't. You hate when I try to give you a discount. I will say that much. And you
But
should already receive your order. Did you get your order already?
no, I haven't gotten it. I have not.
Yeah,
I have
it was
gotten
put in the mail. So look for it.
um Miss Andreen is asking, what do your earrings look like, and do you have any pictures of your artwork? If you have any of those, you can send them to me. I'll get them out. I'll push it out the next commercial.
Okay, we'll get it together.
And Miss Bridget from out there in Cali, she's looking at body
Hey,
butter.
Bridget.
And I'll get that information to make sure that they get it out there. Like I said, you're the sponsor of my show, so I gotta big up you. Now, like I said, Apple knows about travel, so if y'all have any travel related questions, y'all can hit up Apple, and she'll let you know what's going on with that. Like I said, she can't get you no free tickets, but she can. Look who came up on Facebook. It's the Big Puzz, our youngest brother.
Hey,
Our
I was
youngest
gonna
our
say, hey,
youngest
Aunt Dream, but you talking about somebody else.
No, I was talking puzzles on here.
Oh, hey, Paul.
So he can't hear. He can hear you. He can't. He can respond. But so knowing that you guys had difficulties or not difficulties but challenges with teaching men how to be men. How were the men in your life? And I'm not excluding me. Said excluding me. How were the men in your life, and were they good to decent role models? Starting with you, Apple.
Um, I loved every man that I had in my life. They were all always, not always, but for the most part, good role models. And I think that's how my sons turned out so well because they had good examples. You saying to exclude you, but you were a big part of it. So was Puzzle, and so was our other brother Black. And then we have cousins, male cousins, Danny, Kevin, Derek. They all played a role in teaching my sons certain things that I wasn't able to. So
So
and daddy, we lost him when I was very young, but I remember him being very involved in our lives,
yes, he
down to even
was.
trying to do our hair as girls. So taking that into account, I just had a really positive um upbringing as far as the males in our lives. And
That's
I
good.
think
What
that's
about you? Go ahead. I'm sorry, App.
no, no, it's okay. I'm done.
Say, what about you, Chocolate Pearl? The men in your life besides me, because you already
Well,
big up me.
I I feel the men in my life were very pertinent in my life because of unfortunately with Apple, our father passed at a younger age. So you and I got to experience him more than the others did. And I learned how to say my hustle mentality from my dad. I learned my hustle mentality from my uncle brother. And I learned my um, accounting abilities. I want to say I got that from my Uncle Johnny. And then my birthday twin, that's my heart. My Uncle Buster, rest his soul. He was a big part of my life when I became a teenager and moved from New York to South Carolina. So he was my father figure there. So I've always had men in my life to help bring me up and to look for the type of man that puts all of those men together.
Right.
Unfortunately, I didn't find exactly like that, but my ex was still a kind-hearted person, um, and he was a good man. I will say that. It's just that our reason why we're not together, we fell out of love. You get complacent and everything, but he wasn't a bad man. Did he have qualities that my father and my uncles did? Not all of them. But he had enough for me to say, okay, I think I can try to spend my life with you.
Okay. 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 Well, I inherit said um said Apple and Puzzle inherited our father's temper. I inherited his stubbornness. Y'all know I'm stubborn as the
I
day
got
is
the
long.
hustle mentality.
But I wish I'd have inherited his hairline, but
Yeah, you and Puzzle did not get that.
but anyway though,
One
I,
thing I
I we
gotta
did have
say about our father, and that our younger brother took to heart. Before he passed, he said, "You have to be the man of the family. You got to make sure your sisters are good in my absence." And he tried to live up to that. Even though
right.
he's the baby of the family, you would have swore that he was my older brother. The way he would act, and Sarah's older brother, the way he would act sometimes. Yeah, and he's excellent with his girls. He's a good
Oh
father.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Definitely. We've seen that. Like I said, we all had challenges with how we were going. With what's going on with us and our kids and knowing what the challenges our father went through. But it's been pretty interesting that I always wanted to make sure that he knew that he would be proud of me, and I think I did a halfway decent job of that. Um, we have to look at you know we have to look at what we learned and how we pass it along. Now, for the most part, we all have children that are in the community. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. And regardless of who they love, they're still our children. And I really can't understand how some parents lose their mind over that when it's a part of life. Now you don't have to agree with it. Like I don't hate everybody who eats liver and beets, but that's not something that I do. But that don't that just because they like that and I don't mean I gotta hate them. And that's way and and that whole family dynamic, act like a man. These days, what the hell does that mean? Sometimes, we like act like a man. Men don't cry. Men don't. Men can't be sensitive. If you do something that's not considered masculine, they look at you sus. There's a lot of things that you say that have dudes going pause. Like a man can't eat a banana. I like bananas, but as a man, you gotta
Why they
slice it up.
can't
You
eat a
can't
banana?
Pearl. Pearl, you know better. You know better.
You can break the
And
banana up. You don't have to eat it straight from the skin.
yeah, that's my point. We shouldn't care about that, but we do. But we do. It is what it is. But yeah, most of the time we look at stuff like that, and we want our children to be happy. We want our children to be or eat a hot dog. He ain't never lie. He'd be like, You got to eat it from the middle. Like, there was one on TikTok like that was up in New York, and everything the dude was doing like, pause, put that in your pocket. You can't do that. But that's a hyper masculinity is not masculinity. It's not really masculine. It's insecure.
It's more like toxic masculinity.
Yeah, but masculinity itself is not toxic. What I'm saying is that when you're hyper about it, you out there yelling no homo. You out there talking about he looked at me funny, so I'm gonna beat him up. You be talking about things like that, to where you protest a bit too much. You acting a bit too, like Pearl said earlier. There are times when you're gonna act some in your feminine, and women are gonna act some in their masculine. It happens. But a dude that's like hyper masculine, manly men, in my opinion, are insecure and embracing their whole self. Now, does that mean they gotta like men? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that that's if you're that over the top to show how macho and how man you are, to me that's a red flag. You might need to go do some soul searching.
Totally agree.
So, and that's we've kind of distorted that. I'm not a skinny jeans fan, but I mean, the pants sagging, I was never, not even back in the days when we used to do that. They used to do that. I never sagged. Our father wouldn't let me sag, but that's another story. And that's why now some of the young ladies, but a lot of people are, they're quick to fight. They can't use, they lack conflict resolution skills. So when they feel themselves cornered, their fight or flight kicks in, and most of the time it's fighting when words could have done. Now, I won a few, I lost a few growing up in the projects, but most of the time I talk myself out of fights because I wasn't getting punched hurt, getting kicked hurt. I remember one time my senior year in high school, a couple of days early, I had broke. You remember Herbie Williamson from 10th Street? He passed a couple of years ago. He lived in 4014 12th Street. He had brother Ronald, brother Draws. Puzzle know who I'm talking about. Well,
yeah,
anyway,
I remember.
And they had a sister. Anyway, I was coming from Big Will's house, and he got smart with me, so I punched him, and he punched me back. The next couple of days, I avoided walking through the middle of 10th Street, going to 12th Street, because you know how that was. I stayed on Vernon, but I was always on 12th Street. Well, anyway, they rolled up on me, and he caught me across my jaw and dislocated it. I still feel that over 40 years later. And it took us a couple more weeks, but we talked it out. JL pulled us aside and was like, "You need to squash it," so we squashed it. But I was just like, I didn't like the fight, but if I had to, I would, and I was pretty decent at it. But that's not, that is not manly. Defending yourself, you always got the right to self-defense, but that's why a lot of these kids shoot today, because they're afraid to get punched in the mouth. I done got punched in the mouth. It's like, it's like these kids don't really know how to fight. Even, y'all understand. If anybody don't understand, if you were golden, you understand you had to fight. win, lose, or draw, you was fighting, but you didn't have to fight. You didn't want to fight, and
I
those
also
that's the
taught
type.
my boys it takes more bravery to walk away from a fight than to actually engage.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to fight
Exactly.
every battle. I'm not saying
Exactly.
don't stand up for yourself, but if it's not worth it, it's not worth your life, it's not worth you going to jail for, and it's not making
Exactly.
you any money, walk away.
Exactly. You don't get paid to do it, so why do it?
One of my
Right.
boys, one of my boys took that advice.
'Cause,
The other
I
one,
don't.
not so much.
Well, I mean,
But he's the person that tests the waters anyway. He's gonna go by his own rules.
yeah, that's true. That is true. But the big thing about it is, you know, we have to look at individuals and say, are they representing themselves? Because there's a certain way, you know, like I said with ladies last week, men have a way they walk. You know, that's true, puzzle. Life is different when you out there. But you can't. But you don't. You teach them how to, but you teach them how not to get into fights, not to start them. But we darn sure taught our kids how to finish fights. But like I said, these kids today, they afraid to catch a ass whooping, and I mean that. That's why they always carry them things on them, or they got a weapon on them because they're afraid they're gonna get their ass kicked, and they can't have that. But and sometimes you gotta catch it. You gotta take an L because how you gonna know? You know, if you have to, got to be defend yourself, and you can't always win, but you ain't got to come back. Just catch that L, hold on, hold that L, and be like. Now, if they come back, then you got to handle your business. But overall, it's more manly to talk about things and come to an agreement than it is to just slug somebody, because some days you're gonna slug the wrong person, and then you're gonna be like bad Leroy Brown said, it looked like a jigsaw puzzle with a couple of pieces missing.
But it's also different nowadays because everything is on the internet. These kids record everything. They tell on their damn self.
Yeah, that's true. There ain't no code no more because I don't gotta snitch on you. You're gonna snitch on yourself. But those are things that a lot of things that are gone because we've gone away from norms. A lot of respect for your elders, and that's not. I don't blame the kids for that. Really, I blame us because we didn't. And I'm not saying us like it out because our people. We ain't like that with our people. But for the most part, our generation is the one that kind of said we were raised on our own. We're gonna raise them. We're gonna overprotect, and but we're not gonna if they disrespect, we're not gonna be on them. Because could you imagine telling your grandmother Frances Reed, "F you"? You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't even think about doing that now. She's been going for
My
over 50
mouth
years.
wouldn't know how to form that. I'm sorry.
Or who do you think? Or cut your eyes at her. Mm.
Like I said, she's been going 20 years. I wouldn't even do that in my sleep.
Exactly. But our kids, for the most part, our kids have it, but a lot of kids don't. They were raised grown. They in grown people business. They doing grown things at younger ages, and the
I blame
parents.
that on not having a village anymore. The lack of villages,
Well, I mean,
especially for
and
single mothers. Back then, even though our parents were married and then they were separated, we still had villages.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's
But
a lack of villages now.
a lot of times people don't
Everybody's
want to.
scared of everybody's child. Everybody's scared of everybody's, you know, mother or what somebody gonna say, or how they're gonna feel, and now it's recorded. Everything. So society today is scared chickens. They're scared to
Yeah.
be or be held responsible for being a part of a village. You don't have the villages anymore, and I blame that on society.
Well, like I
Because
said,
back when we grew up, we had villages. When you got in trouble, if somebody's parents see you do something you weren't supposed to do, you got your tail whipped by that parent, and then she took you home. She or he took you home, and then you got whipped by your parents. So you got two butt whippings.
yes, but now they now CPS is a lot more involved, so
Yeah,
people are people are like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. Exactly, puzzle. Nobody wants to deal with nobody else's problems these days. But
right.
if we don't, then it ain't gonna do nothing but get worse. You know, it ain't gonna do nothing but get worse. And then the fact that we're a lot more mobile in these days, in the last 30 years than our families, than our parents were 50 years ago. I mean, think about that. In 4013, when we lived in 4013, and 4015 to a lesser extent, you knew everybody in the building. We all grew up together. Like when we used to go to Grandma Frances' house in in Manhattan. We grew up together. But now we're all strangers because we're all over the country. Everybody's doing their thing. We don't get together. Now we've done it as far as siblings. We've done it, but we hadn't really gotten together like like we used to back in days. And one thing is distance. Now we've gotten better with that, but our kids don't know their cousins like we knew our cousins. That's on us. That's
You are
on
right.
us.
Because when I told my children who in my family had passed, they was like, "Who is that?"
Exactly. Exactly. And that's on us. We gotta hold that out. But that doesn't mean we don't stop trying. We're defeated when we stop trying. That's the thing. If we don't continue to do these things, and we got to talk about our next get together anyway, where we're gonna have it and when we're gonna do it. But this brings us to another close of another show. I want to appreciate everybody who's out there in Facebook land, in YouTube land. Like, share, subscribe, show your boy some love, tell a phone, tell a friend that the Apple, the Chocolate Pearl, and DFG are together again. Until next week, hopefully we can get you back. And I'm going to close out with my theme song. My theme song. My theme song. Let me go.